themselves and what they're up to.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for having us. And also, gain out of calculus, thank you for that. But, yeah. First of all, my name's Raj Gerbo. I've been going to Calvary my whole life, and great school, would recommend it. And also, further plans after school, attending college, hopefully pursuing a pre-law program or political science. And for universities, I'm still deciding here, waiting on decisions to come back. However, Michigan is a big option. And then, yeah. However, also for someone who helped me intern, MSU is up there too. So yeah, and thank you for having us once again, and I'll pass the mic on to my friend Luke.
I would also like to say thank you for having us, not to sound redundant. I've also been going to Calvary Christian Schools for 14 years. This is my last year. It's been a long ride. Very appreciated the mission calculus today. It's a great community at the school, great family environment. Definitely recommend. After this year, I'm hoping to attend Southeastern University in Florida. Go Fire, since nobody else. No. And I'm hoping to study medicine there. Thank you.
Okay, on to our program. Tease this at the beginning. We have our second committee, Palooza. Mike Vogus is going to intro the program, and after that, you can direct your attention to the screens to hear what's going on with our second round of committees.
Rotarians, I am pleased to offer you a tribute to the folks who are accomplishing wonderful things here, and I consider myself fortunate to be able to offer this service. Committee Palooza is the result of my curiosity. Since I have joined this club 2.5 years ago, I have been curious about what committees do. And I have finally gotten permission from the folks that I need to put together programs that are speculative in a sense. And I have a wonderful job in that I get to interview folks sitting where I am right now and ask them what it is that they're about. One of the things people are so very pleased with is how good they sound. And that's a result of editing. One of the things that Bob Skolnick said to me at the conclusion of one meeting is all this really necessary? And since everyone knows Bob Skolnick, they can appreciate the irony in that, because yes, all of this is necessary. We have a stellar club, we do wonderful things, and those things ought to be represented well. I'm very pleased to have an assistant. Maggie Kukuski is now working with me so that I can actually take a day off every once in a while. I show up at 9 in the morning. I have a 3-camera setup. There is an additional setup that Maggie owns or has in her possession, and hers is a 1-camera setup. She arrives at 10 o'clock. I'm motivated to do what I do for this club because when I first arrived, the state of presentation was less than ideal. And I am so pleased to be able to put almost everything I've ever learned with the vocations I've had into what it is I'm doing for this organization. I love what I do, and I'm looking forward to making everybody shine on a regular basis, week after week.
Tools on our website to help with membership include our join page. I don't know if you've been there. Walks through how to join, gives you information on where to click and get more information and be connected with a member, and also our membership team. We also have a frequently asked questions section so that people can find out more information about how they can join. People in our club can help with social media by simply liking our pages. We have a Facebook page. We also have a YouTube page. Like it. You'll find out a lot of information from there. We post when meetings are held. We post with presentations. We post things that are happening, awards, volunteer information. By simply liking the page, you now have access to all that content and you can share it, which will help with membership, because the more people know about what we're doing, the better we get the word out from a PR standpoint. So help us out, like our pages and share the information. We have a new email address that Howard Hardesty is setting up for us. It's called pr@muskegonrotary.org. That will email the entire team. We can take care of anything that you need. We're here for you. If you're a committee and you want to promote an event coming up that will help with membership, we can help you out with that. A lot of stuff we do on the Facebook page and also our YouTube page. We have some testimonial videos from some of our members talking about why Rotary, why is it so important for our club, what things are we doing that are impacting the community. I think getting that information out is most important to showcase to new potential members just how great our club is.
Our activity started probably in 1996 when Muskegon Rotary joined with Rotary clubs from Grand Haven, Spring Lake, and Holland to create a 501c3 organization called HOP, which was planned to do international projects. Fast forward to about 2007, and that was the first trip that Nancy and I took to Honduras. One trip that Nancy and I sponsored, one of the Rotarians brought his grandson, and another Rotarian brought his wife and his teenage daughter who was in high school. And we saw the impact that that had on these two young kids. It was absolutely amazing. It changed their lives, and they matured in a week's time right before our eyes. And we decided that was such a good thing. We had to facilitate and support more youth becoming involved in this. The first way to get involved, if you've not been involved, is serve on the World Community Service Committee. That will get you involved. Another way that a lot of people have done is just sign up for a trip to Honduras. It will change your life. There's no question about it. And you'll really get a sense of what World Community Service is all about. And a third way is go to a Rotary International meeting, because you want to know about international work in Rotary, there you go there. And you'll meet people literally from all over the world and have an opportunity to sit down and talk to them about their particular projects and see what stimulates your interest. And another thing we just learned recently about these Rotary Action Committees, we talked about the one at World Peace. There are Rotary Action Committees for everything, for physicians, for nurses, for motorcyclists, for yachtsmen, for water and sanitation, for world peace. And if you go on the Rotary International website and look at these action committees, you can start connecting with people if you find an area that's really of interest to you, and that will get you into an international involvement in an area of interest that you specifically have.
The Grants Committee, we entertain grants each year. And the fundraisers, we have about 3 major fundraisers each year: Brave Escape, the Seaway Run, and also Parties in the Park, for example. This year, the Grants Committee received 3 requests, and I'll touch on those. We granted $5,000 towards Peter Massey mural. It's a 65 by 12-foot mural that will be placed on Mercy Health Arena. A second grant, $5,000 as well, was provided to the Beechwood Bluffton Neighborhood Association, and that is to develop a fitness trail in the Beechwood Park and surrounding public areas. Now, the trail currently exists, but what this project will do, and it's about an $80,000 project, will provide fitness stations along the trail that people can work out in. So it will promote health and wellness. The third grant, $2,500, is being provided to the Lakeshore Art Festival. It's one of our premier activities and festivals in Muskegon in the summer, and that money will go towards materials and art supplies for families who can create art during that festival free of charge. I'd like the club to know that the Grants Committee has some additional funds yet this year, and we are willing to entertain mid-year grant requests. So if you have a worthy program or project that will benefit the community, we'd like to hear from you. Visit muskegonrotary.org and you can download the information on how to apply for a grant.
It's such a big organization that we only sort of learn about it in pieces. The Muskegon Rotary Club has a foundation of its own, obviously the Muskegon Rotary Foundation, and that's how our fundraising efforts go into that foundation to help us support the initiatives of Rotary to better our community. And then as you spend more time in the organization, you start hearing about these different initiatives like End Polio Now and Every Rotarian Every Year to support the work of the Rotary Foundation. And I think we gradually become aware that by being a part of this club, we can extend our reach worldwide. It might not be hands-on, it might be financial support, but for many of our members, it's hands-on as well. And that's a terrific opportunity that we have. By joining our club to better our community, we can also better the world. My biggest challenge is to get people to financially support Every Rotarian Every Year. And as I said to whenever I make the announcement about it, I encourage people to give, but our Rotarians are heavily invested in their communities. They support initiatives here, and we never want to take away from that. They do good in many areas, and we want them to continue that support. My goal is if we could get everybody to just give something every year, my 100% participation goal, just because the work that Rotary International Foundation does on our behalf helps us all make the world a better place. The Rotary vision is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And that's what Rotary allows us to do if we take that opportunity.
I have the pleasure of running the Muskegon City Public Art Initiative. And the Rotary Club, the Muskegon Rotary Club, has been very helpful in granting support for our very first project, which was Moxie. And then they have been very generous with my project number 5, which is the mural that will go out on the exterior wall of the arena, the second story. And that mural is titled, What Defines Muskegon? What Defines Us? And the mural has been inspired by a series of community forums that the artist was Dr. Hebert Massey out of Detroit, and I conducted in Muskegon. So our artist is from Detroit, notable Detroit artist with a huge reputation, does large-scale mural work. What's really notable, I think, is what he came away with from these forums. We did 4 different forums. We had a cross-section of people. We had young, old, black, white, middle class, retired, all economic levels, all age levels. We had some great teenagers from the Community and Compass group that helped work with us on this. But the answers were just so good. It just reflected, honestly, who we are, starting with the Native Americans. And you're going to see something about lumber in there. You're going to see our industrial heritage in there. You're going to see the cultural infrastructure that makes up our town. And it's going to lead to kind of where we are today with this beautiful sunset view on the far side of the mural of Lake Michigan. One of the things that was so interesting about that experience is that every single group at one point or another talked about the family tradition or the pride or the excitement when they would all pile in the car. They'd go down Sherman Avenue. They'd make that turn into that neighborhood and go around that little park and then come up that little rise and see Lake Michigan.
We're asking people to embrace that motto that Rotary International has put out, which is each one bring one. Invite a prospective member to come to a weekly lunch meeting. We have a lot of volunteer activities and fundraisers that go on throughout the year, and that's another great way to introduce a prospective member into the work that Rotary is actually doing. And then we have all kinds of tools. We have information on the Rotary International website, on the Muskegon Rotary website, on our Facebook page, and we have committee members that are able and willing to help. We have a great orientation program. We invite current Rotarians to attend, and maybe they could benefit from a refresher. And Howard Hardesty and Doug Wood, who's our membership council chair, every single month on the first Wednesday of the month at 8 o'clock, they meet with prospective Rotarians and any other Rotarian Plus sponsors that would want to come and find out more about Muskegon Rotary. And finally, we have an engagement retention subcommittee, and Lisa Metzdorf is heading that up, and she's recruiting more people to be on that committee to work on engagement, because once we get people onboarded, we want to pay special attention, especially during that first year, to what interests them, how can Rotary better meet their needs and match up with ways that they can feel that this experience has meaning and purpose. We have several new initiatives, again, to try to work on some of those gaps. One would be to reinvigorate the corporate membership program, which was started several years ago, and then during the pandemic, that kind of waned. And so Jim Fisher and Orville Crane are heading that initiative up. We're also really interested in helping our friends that are in the Satellite Club and Rewind have a fuller experience. So we're identifying some ways that we can do that. And then finally, because we know we need to be a little bit more relevant to folks in their 20s and 30s, we're going to be looking at some ways that we can reach out to other service organizations that are attracting younger members and maybe perhaps do some joint projects such as the JCs and the Young Black Professionals.
When I joined Rotary, the important thing was we had a subcommittee called Diversity and Inclusion that has now expanded to Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Brianna Scott was the chair. What was important about that is sometimes we can't reach our target audience or our community, and Rotary and DEI was a perfect conduit to get law enforcement and our target community to provide outreach. And the term outreach, I think people get kind of mixed up with that, but outreach is where we provide a service or an activity to a group that doesn't have access. You can't be stationary, and we're not. You have to be mobile. You have to be able to take your service or activity to the target group, and that's exactly what DE and I did, was to brought that group in the community that has trust issues with law enforcement to law enforcement. So I was able to rally the troops in law enforcement, and Brianna brought the community together, and for that was the birth of Impact, which is basically enhancing trust and with police and community. That's what Impact's all about. But that's where the outreach took place, is we took our services, our activity, to a group that doesn't have access. We didn't make them come to us, we went to them, and that's the key. That's the thing about Rotary. We do that a lot. We're not stationary, we're very mobile. And because of that, we provide excellent outreach services. The George Floyd incident is really nothing new in the United States of America. You know, going all the way back to Rodney King when I was an officer on the road, and even before that. So that's why DE&I was so important, is we were not waiting for an event to react. Muskegon County was ready. We didn't react, we were proactive. So when we had our protest down at the county, we were able to interact with those people. Law enforcement attended, and there was no damage, there was no rioting, there was no problem, but yet a lot of problems were solved in the community through just communication and discussion. I think we have a deep and real understanding of the Muskegon, county or the greater area of Muskegon and what we need. And I've been a member here for 10 years, and I just can't believe that it's never a static or a stalemate time. This club is on the move, and when I watch what it does in the community, I just feel sometimes like I'm not even capable of being a member because of I see these individual members or these groups, what they accomplish, and it's just so hard to keep up with.
All right. What a wonderful, wonderful program. Does anyone have any questions for Mike about putting together the Committee Palooza? This is our second one that we've done. Any of the 19 members that are on Zoom? I'll check my text here. We got a question from Brianna.
I think we're extremely blessed to have Mike Voges. Mort and I were just kind of awe sitting here, and Mort indicated I've never seen anything quite like this in all his years in this club. So I just wanted to applaud Mike for really bringing us to another level. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. Doug has a question?
Not so much a question, but a piling on of the praise for Mike Voges, but also an invitation. Mike joined us yesterday, almost just over 24 hours ago for orientation, and so you saw the pictures from yesterday's orientation. So thank you for very quickly including that. But I would invite any current Rotary members to join us on that first Wednesday of the month for orientation. I think you find the conversation. I mean, Howard does a great job with the presentation of facts and those kind of things, but it's the conversation with new Rotarians that really makes that session very special. So thanks, Mike, for what you do.
You're very welcome. Any other questions or praise? I'm sure Mike will gladly accept it, even being as humble as he is. I have more praise from Zoom. They said awesome production. So that's the word there. So once again, let's give Mike and everyone who participated. Committee Palooza number 3 is in the queue, I believe, for April or May. So you get to hear more of the good work that our committees are out there doing in the community. Okay. We're at birthdays, and this is the first time I can remember, but maybe it happens this time every year that we don't have any birthdays. So there'll be no singing today. But we do get I know, thank you. We do have a special treat because our member spotlight highlighting our vocational avenue of service is from Tim Lipan. So we're going to get to hear what Tim did back in the day and why he joined Rotary.
My name's Tim Lipan. I joined Rotary in 1982 when I arrived in Muskegon. And the reason I joined is being new in town, I wanted to make sure that I met people and developed relationships. And Rotary was the premier group to do that in, and so it worked out pretty well. I'm still involved. I'm married to Lynette, who many of you probably know. I have a son, Michael, who's 28 years old, and he's about to get married in July of this year. I worked for the American Red Cross. I worked for the Red Cross for 40 years before I retired in 2015. And over the years, we were the most honored, most recognized, most decorated Red Cross chapter in the state of Michigan. Well, right now I'm the chair of the social committee, which hasn't done much in the last couple of years almost now because of COVID. But prior to COVID, our committee was very busy, and we were holding 6 to 8 social events per year. And the whole idea behind that was to gather Rotarians together and be able to network outside of the regular meeting schedule. And we had some pretty successful events. We're going to start meeting again, see as best we can if we can start to have some social events where we engage all Rotarians. Well, I started in 1982 with Rotary, and it was a great opportunity to meet people, obviously, and to engage with the community, and fell in love with Muskegon and been trying to promote Muskegon and Rotary and all things in between ever since. In fact, I have my Rotary badge here. Now, this Rotary badge looks a lot different than other people's, partly because it's old, and partly because it survived the floods of 1989. And I'll have to tell you about that later.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. Okay, on to our induction. Marcia Hovey-Wright, if you want to come up with Marjorie. Put you over here. See that one right there? There you go.
Okay. All right. So you got to be in the right place to do your presentation. So I'm Marcia Hovey-Wright. Next to me is Marjorie Jones. She also lives right next to me. We share a driveway. So we got to know each other as soon as she moved in, and I quickly realized that she was a potential person that would really appreciate Rotary. So she wrote me, since I didn't know her whole history before this, she wrote it out for me. So Marjorie was born June 24th in Ann Arbor and adopted by the Hales in Battle Creek, Michigan. She graduated from Battle Creek Central and worked her way through college by putting raisins in the Raisin Bran at Kellogg's.
I've been picking them out for years.
You've been picking them out, okay. Back then, the pay was $3.36 per hour, and women could only work 6-hour shifts. After graduation, Marjorie left the Bear Creek life for the Broncos at West Michigan University. She graduated. She's definitely a fan. She eventually graduated with a degree in physical education with health and psychology majors. She admits she was not an eager student, but knew she was and is a terrific teammate and fierce adversary on the tennis and basketball courts. I'm trying to get her into pickleball. We'll see. Kalamazoo Schools hired her, and for the next 2 years, she taught and completed her master's in education with an emphasis on special education. Following the next few years were spent celebrating marriage and 2 daughters. By this time, she was living in Westchester County, New York, where she taught for the next 10 years until the economy forced the school district to close 2 buildings. So back to the school she went, no grass under her feet, and this time she finished with a business degree. Her next position was with J.P. Morgan Chase as a mortgage officer. It is here she learns that the doctors and airline pilots are not as detail-oriented as most of us would hope. Her time was mostly spent filling out their applications, LOL. Travel, yes, China, Africa, Tibet, Europe. She's an adventurous traveler. Were great escapes. These days, her escapes include playing golf, duplicate bridge, and walking Tinker, who is my dog's friend. Her Beagle Terrier rescue. The volunteer opportunities included Girl Scouts and various church positions, even president for 3 years, city recreation commissions, and serving as rescue and gospel missions. As she mentioned in the first sentence, she was adopted and has contacted her birth family. Gratefully now, there is time to enjoy her 2 new sisters and intertwine the pieces of their lives with theirs and complete this puzzle we call life. She has lived in Michigan, New York, California, and Arizona. At this time in her life, she's felt that it was time to come home to the lake. And she actually told that to the realtor on her first day at her seeing her house. She's happy to be back, and thanks to both Rotary and me, thank you, for the warm welcome. And Marjorie is now going to be not only a fellow Michigan fan, but a fellow Rotarian right next to her.
Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to induct a new member. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It's my pleasure to give you this pin by which your fellow Rotarians will recognize you in the community. We ask you to wear it proudly. I would also like to challenge you to share the gift that has been given to you and invite another member with like qualities of character and reputation to join our club within the next 3 months. The honor of becoming a Rotarian is only surpassed by sponsoring new members. Do you accept this challenge?
I do, sir.
Sir, I like that. That's nice. Well, thank you. Everyone, please rise and welcome the newest Rotarian in the world, Marjorie Jones. Oh. Did you want to say more than that? You can have the mic.
I'm just going to say I'm happy to be back in Michigan and starting a new stage in my life. And I wanted to serve the community, and Marcia certainly opened the door for me to do that. I'm honored to be among you. The talent and the community spirit that Rotary exhibits is unbelievable. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome. You can hand that back to Amy. Welcome, Marjorie. Committee reports and announcements. Meredith Smiley and Bill Erickson have announcements if you want to head up there. While they're doing that, I wanted to pass along, many of you saw that Kate Kestelut Scarborough's husband, Bill, unexpectedly passed away last week. There is a visitation going on right now at Seitzma's Lead Chapel from 1 to 2. And then the service will be at 2 p.m. And there is a reception at the White Lake Eagles at 3:30 p.m. If any of you would like to attend, just ask to keep Kate in your thoughts. Meredith.
What a perfect day for committee reports. You'll notice on your tables, and if you're missing some, just grab one from another table, but we have not had Grape Escape in a couple of years due to this COVID thing. So we're kind of doing a Grape Escape preview this year, which will be in March, and we are partnering with the one and only Erin Mikey from the Culinary Institute and Baker College. Tickets will go on sale shortly. For $50, you get a 4-course meal and a wine pour. And dinner. So we are excited to have you invite another couple out for dinner at Courses coming at the end of March. And as always, we are looking for committee members for Grape Escape.
This is not a committee report. This is a moment of shameless self-promotion. Here's my $1. I'm going to get my dollar's worth. So we'll start with pictures of my grandchildren. Can we get those pictures up? No? Oh. Well, let's move on. Some of you, this is even better because they say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Mel, could you stand for a moment? Melissa Buffner is going to buy you all lunch on the 15th of February. You all may remember over the last decade or so our Muskegon Rescue Mission's event called Soup for Suits. It's one of the premier business-to-business networking luncheons you'll find in Muskegon. Well, because of COVID, we skipped a year. We're getting back into that. We're calling it now Fill the Bowl. And it's this February 15th at Fricano's, just like it's always been. And it's at 11:30. And if you're interested in going, Mel's buying you lunch. Come on. And if you're interested in sponsoring, come and see me. I've got a few sponsor packets left. But they're going fast, so hurry up. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Bill and Mel. You want to get out and support the rescue mission on the 15th. I mean, who doesn't like a Fricano's lunch? Rewind meets tonight at Pigeon Hill at 5:15 p.m. They're going to be talking about some of the community cleanup projects that they have going in the spring, so if you want to check that out. Also, our district raffle is still going, and I know Ginny Sprague would like to sell some more raffle tickets, so you can get them for $20, and you have till the end of this month to get them. Where did the proceeds go for that? Okay. Goes to Rotary Foundation, Rotary District Funds. I probably should have known that, but I did not read the email. It was a long. Okay. All right, on to our raffle. Eric Seifert has our raffle. What are we doing first, Eric? $20. $818 for $20. Doc is the winner. I feel like you just won. Wait, what is this for first? This is going to be a real test of our friendship and our fellowship. That would be me. Bring it on, $10. That is a Rotarian of integrity. Also going into my Unruly Brewing Post-Rotary Recovery Fund. That's even 800. 800 for $5. Orville Crane pays to come to Rotary. All right, as we close our meeting, wanted to thank Andrea, Arnetta, Erica, Rita, Arlen, Kendra, Rick, Luke, and Raj for visiting our meeting today. Hopefully you will attend again in the future. Next week's program will be an Afghan refugee update. We'll hear from Bethany Christian Services on what's going on with that program here in West Michigan. If everyone could please rise, we'll do the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Wow.
Well, have a great rest of your day, everyone.
You too. Have a great trip. If I don't talk to you before, I don't know when you're leaving.
Friday what is it? The 18th.
Oh, another week yet then.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week then.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.